The fountain of youth is humility, human, arming the Ebos with the Spirit of God. The O is the cycle of the Obi-Man. Obi-Wan, the first son. You must realize everyone is right and only the devil is wrong in order to save everyone and to rule over them fairly. M represents me, Armageddon. A-R-M. Okay? Armageddon, the A. Arm them so they can get in. And every letter, and I don't know all the things yet, all the meanings of all the letters yet, I'm progressing naturally, not scientifically, in a way that has been prescribed or, made ahead of time, planned out ahead of time by man, unnaturally, but rather naturally, because the L for love is in devil, right? The devil wants the love of God, but God doesn't need to put the L because the love is already in the O. The love is already in you, and we are all related to the first son. And some of us are from the temple of the first son that stood our ground the whole time. Before Abraham, we stood our ground. Therefore, the black man's argument infuriates people who are not black. And it is our duty to get you to open your hearts so we can win with love. The 6, the 9, and the 7 are all in the Igbo tribe. And we are trying to win your love. Okay? And I am not perfect. This is why I could not save you. And I'm not Jesus. But I'm playing my part in a divine battle. And I'm carrying my cross. The fountain of youth is the water of God. The bread is the heart, is Igbo, the Jews of Africa, the true Jews. Now, we are all Jews in a sense. We are not all Judah. We are not all kings. We are not all saints, prophets, angels, etc. So therefore, there is a divine order. And the children of God get the bread first, right? Why? Because when we make love, those who are closest to God make love to Judah first. And we know them naturally. So if I do not love you at first sight for the first son, then it cannot be love. Love at first sight versus being blinded by the Romans who control romance. But can you truly have love at first sight if you are not in tune with God? Then you could be drugged and mistaken by the 9. So the 6 and the 9 and the 10, the 7, are always fighting over who makes the 10. 3, so that you can walk through 2 pillars, 7, 11, so that the 7 can get in. Fellowship. The first step is the bread of God, Igbo. You have to be an Igbo. And the 9 controls masonry. And that's why I don't get a fair shake. We have to get them to love black people, to be set free. And Obama was a 9, perhaps leans toward the 7. But I am the 7. And you have to open your hearts to the philosophy, the spirit, not how I look. I'm actually pretty ugly on camera without this thing on, and I wear it just so you don't focus on how I look. These are the image, the illusion, the technology, the illusion. It works with light. Think of the emperor zapping as technological snakes or something. The dark force, the technological terror as expressed through the devil. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. And there's a lot to say still, a lot. And I probably won't live that long. And how fast you think, God's speed, how far you can get. How far can you get running before you run out of breath if evil is chasing you? How far can you run after evil if you need to stop him from eating your kid and beating you back home? God's speed. How many can you kill before they run through the gates and rape your women? Guard the gates with God's speed, not with materialism to weigh you down. The sword is the sword of spirit, the blood, the water, the bread, the spirit of God. The tale of the Bible is the tale of African tribes and, the tribes of the world, but focusing on the center of the world, the core, okay, which was Egypt when the sun rises in the east. But when it settled in the spirit of Osiris, it settled in the west. When it settled in the spirit of materialism, it went a different direction. So when the sun settled, those who were not in accord were jealous and built their temples elsewhere. And those who followed the spirit and not the material planet of the sun built their temple knowing that the sun is going to be tortured by the serpent who seeks to devour the children of God and keep them from the water, the blood, and the bread. Now, I'm sure you can figure out a lot of the rest by yourself, if not everything else. But I'm with you until the end of my life. And I am not a prophet that I know of, and I'm not Jesus. That's what this black symbolizes. I command all masons who obey God to build new temples with the floor white and almost entirely black if you love me. Open your hearts to me, says the Lord. And think about the mind, body, soul with heart, and look through the windows of the soul. Know them by their works. Light contact. Even if I was a 9 that leaves 7, which I am not, light contact proves that I am trying to secure the true temple. And I'm trying to get you to think in a way that helps you figure it out. So in my opinion, when I look at myself scientifically, mind, body, and soul, mind, there goes there goes the negative energy. There goes the ego, right? In comes the nature, the spirit. Don't focus on the air, focus on the spirit. Right? Into the nose, into the mouth. Doesn't matter the form, as long as you focus on the spirit coming in and you release the negative energy. Mind. How does it affect your body? How does it affect your soul? And is there water in the air? And are things connected? What are the commonalities from a spiritual perspective? What are the commonalities from a 9 perspective? And what are the commonalities from a complete atheistic, Satanist, or materialistic perspective? Satanism overlaps because whether or not you are an atheist or not, you still do not believe that the path is the 7. And you fall short of glory when you don't walk through the pillars as a 7. Many will call on God's name who are not the 7, and he will not answer, because they have to achieve 777, 3 steps in the spirit of the 7 to make it to heaven. And no, you do not have to be perfect in flesh, but in spirit you have to do it correctly. C-O, sorry, miracle. Look in the mirror to have the clue about who you are. Who are you? Look at through the spirit, through your eyes. Look at your eyes. Look at the spirit of who you are and adjust yourself. Look within and consider the white man's technology, drugs, illusion, treachery, trickery, deceit, and all those little nasty tricks of Japheth, who has sided with the house nigga and everyone else, the snake, the rat, the cat, the dog, the spirit of the people who went astray, and the spirit within the beast of all of us that seeks to connect to the 7 and give me my rightful place. If I am wrong, let me suffer. If I am right, let me suffer more, if that pleases you, my Lord.